Hey there, it's Caryn. So today we're going to talk about how to win in multiple offers. If you're a buyer in the market today, it's super tough. You probably already have lost a house or two or three or four. I mean, it's hard out there and it's very disheartening. You feel like you're never going to get a house. You don't understand why everyone else is winning the offers. You're going to end up in the house you're meant to live in. I truly believe that. But also, after doing this for 17 years, I'm going to share with you my tips and tricks on how to be that winning offer. And stay tuned to the end because I'm also going to tell you how to save some money after you get that house, which you may have paid a lot of money for. So stay tuned and let's dive right in. So how do we get here? It kind of feels like back in 2001 through 2005, when every house is going in multiple offers, they were getting bid way above asking, there was no inventory, and people were going nuts. But it's really different because back then, banks were loaning money out to basically anybody who asked for it. It was called stated income. You could just tell them how much money you made. They said, no problem, sign here, here's your money. And people were paying for houses that they couldn't afford. And you saw what happened then. The whole market exploded, the banks were a mess, it went into a recession. It's not the same today. What's happening today? Well, today we have this perfect storm of super low interest rates. I mean, the lowest interest rates I've ever heard of, mid-twos, to low inventory. And then you have a pandemic. So you have this separate motivation of people that either want to move out of the city and get more land, more outdoor space, or you have renters that thought, oh, I'm going to wait a couple years, maybe have a kid first, you know, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, I got to get out now and get me that house with the backyard and the deck. You have a lot more buyers. You've got sellers that really don't have any place to go. And so they're like, well, I was going to move into the city and downsize, but now I'm going to stay and relax in my backyard. So there's no inventory. And it creates this perfect storm of craziness. So if you're one of those buyers in today's market, I'm so sorry. I feel badly for you. But here's the good news. When you get the house, you're going to have probably the lowest interest rate any of your friends have. And you're going to have that interest rate for the next 30 years. So keep the faith. Keep going, because in the end, you will be the winner. So what do you have to do? What do you have to do to win in multiple offers? Some people think it's all about price. It's the highest price. You just give them the most money and you got the house. It's not true. There's a lot more terms that go into winning in multiple offers. So sure, price is important and you're going to have to talk to your agent. Ask your agent to help you look at the comparable properties and kind of see where they're landing so you get an idea of the value of this house. And then you're going to have to see what you're comfortable with. How high are you willing to pay for this house that the next day, if you get it, you feel good about it? What price would you offer that if somebody else paid $5,000 more, would you be upset? What's your walk-away number? So now that you have your walk-away number, which is your cap, you got to pick an escalating factor. The factor is the amount that you will go over the next offer. So a lot of people pick an even number, like 5,000 or less. I always advise an odd number and definitely over 5,000. So 7,300 or 7,250, something that stands out and that is big enough that it makes a difference to the seller. One thing that's happening in the market today that I want to mention is some people are going in with no cap. That means they are dependent on the next offer and what their cap is and escalating over that. I think it's a little insane and I think it's very risky because if you do that, you're really dependent on someone else's number and not the number you're comfortable with. So I don't actually advise to do that, but I wanted to mention it because it is happening in today's market. You've got to make the rest of your offer as clean as possible, which means as few contingencies as possible. If you're getting a loan, unless your lender tells you you're really good to go, you're going to have a loan contingency. But part of a loan contingency is the appraisal. So what happens if you remove the appraisal? If you remove the appraisal and the house is bid over asking, there is a chance that the appraisal won't come in at the number that you're going to pay. Remember, the bank orders the appraisal. Not the buyer, not the seller, not the realtors, the bank. And the bank will only lend you money based on the appraised value. Without an appraisal contingency, you have to be willing to come up with the difference. So that may mean the difference between putting 20% down, which you were planning on doing, and putting 10% down now, so you can take the rest of that cash and make up for that difference in the appraised value versus the money that you're actually going to pay. But it's definitely one of the best ways to win in multiple offers, because the seller knows if the house is bid way over asking, there's a chance it may not appraise. So you got price, you've gone in with your best foot forward with your price, and you said no appraisal contingency, knowing that if it doesn't appraise, which we hope it will, that you'll make up the difference. What about inspections? Are you going to inspect the house? Well, what I always do with my buyers, if I know they're going to be in multiple offers, is I tell them to do a pre-inspection. So a pre-inspection means that you'll actually inspect the house before you write the offer. You're going to hire an inspector, certified inspector. It's only going to be about an hour, maybe 90 minutes. And you're going to go through the house, and the inspector is going to go through all the major items and kind of tell you what the house is about. And based on that, you can write an offer without any inspection contingency. And the thing is, for a listing agent and how they're going to talk to their seller, they're going to tell their seller that these people inspected the house, so they know what they're getting, and they're still writing an offer. So they're going to feel really good about you doing that, as opposed to somebody that just writes an offer without anything, no inspection contingency, and they never inspected the house. So let's talk about letters. I'm sure you've heard by now, write a letter to the seller, tell them all about your life and your kids and your dog, and it's your dream house. I gotta tell you, I agree with them. Write the letter. You're gonna find some people that tell you not to. You're gonna find people and realtors that tell you to be afraid of that. And I understand that. And the reason they're gonna tell you to be afraid is because you really don't know what the seller is looking for. So you may say, oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm gonna raise my children there, and that's the dream house. And the seller may be like, I didn't have any kids. What do I care if they have kids? You just don't know. So there's a little bit of a risk. So you gotta be a little mindful when you write the letter, but write it. Keep it sweet, keep it humble. Talk about the house more than anything, but write the letter. I'll tell you, when I work with sellers who have gotten these letters, there have been tears. You know, they've just like had an emotional reaction to a certain buyer that they felt, wanted them to live in their house. So I'm on the write the letter train. There's some people that'll be no, there's some people will tell you not to. I'm all about it. Write the letter, make it sweet, and make it effective. I'm a little jumpy. I'm excited. I want you to get this offer. I know how hard you've been working on this. I know you've been looking. I want you to win. So I want you to come up with the highest price. I want you to write a letter. I want you to do a pre-inspection. And I want you to waive the appraisal contingency, knowing that there's a chance you might have to make up some of the difference, but hoping that you won't. Okay, and I think that if you do all of these things, you got a really good chance of winning in multiple offers. Don't forget, you've got to communicate with your agent. You've got to let them in on your inner mind. They are not working against you, they're working with you. Tell them your walkaway number. Let them fight for you. So at the beginning of this video, I told you that I would tell you how to save a little money once you got the house. So one of the first things I do when my buyers are under contract, when they have a ratified contract, is I look and see how long the seller has lived in the house. And if the seller has lived in the house for 10 years or less, there's a good chance you could get a discounted rate on title insurance. It's called a reissue rate. The shorter the seller has lived there, the bigger the discount will be. So that's why I say 10 years, because after 10 years, it's so minimal, the reissue rate, that it's really not worth asking. But if a seller has lived in the house for 10 years or less, tell your agent to ask the seller's agent, the listing agent, for a copy of the seller's title insurance policy. Bring it to your title company who's going to be doing your settlement, and they can get you a reissue rate, which will save you a nice chunk of money. So it's kind of nice after you've escalated and gone way over and spent a lot of money on the house, you get a little bit of a bonus by getting this reissue rate. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. If you are looking to buy in Maryland or Washington, D.C., and you like my help, please give me a call, text, email. All my information is right below. I'm happy to help you. I've been doing this for 17 years. I love what I do. I'd love to help you. And you know, if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.